Hi guys, so today what I want to do is introduce you to my Notion Bible, which is essentially a tool I use to reference the Bible in Notion, much like you might do in other Bible study software. Now I've been using this tool for several months, if not a year now. I'd seen a few other Bible study templates for Notion, but they didn't really fulfill my needs, so I decided to build one for myself that would have all the features that I was after. So we're going to get right into it. So I myself have a tool which I use which has the Bible plus a number of other features. If you want, you can go check out that in another video, because I'm going to do a follow-up on that front, where you can see how I use this template to reference the Bible in Notion. But today what we're going to do is just focus on what the Notion Bible features actually are. And so what you can see here in front of me, that we've got essentially three core databases. They are the Bible books, the Bible chapters, and the Bible verses. And the key thing, I suppose, the work that went into this was about setting up the relations between those three databases, because obviously every book has a number of chapters and it also has a number of verses. Every chapter is tied to a book and has a number of verses which make it up, and obviously every verse is tied to a chapter in a book. So we can simply look at that as a collection of related items in those three databases. So you can see here what we've got. If we click into the Bible books, we're in the gallery, and that gives you an overview of all the books, but we can click into list here. That gives us a table view of all of those books, and you can see here the number of chapters in each book and the number of verses. Now those are just number values in this database, and I think that's an interesting number for each one of these, and I actually use these in another tool that I've built for the Bible, which is a Bible plan generator. Perhaps I'll make a video on that if you're interested. But yes, so as with anything in Notion, there is always there are templates built into this plan here. So if, for example, I want to go into, let's say, Ezra, I can click on the book template, and what that will do is it's going to give me a list of all the chapters in this book, which is a filtered view of the chapters database, as well as all of the verses, and we'll get into that shortly. So fundamentally what we've got here is a list of all the books, and the key thing again is that they are related to the chapters and related to the verses, and that's really what we're looking at when we've got this Notioneer's Bible here. So the second piece of the puzzle is our Bible chapters. Now obviously every chapter is tied to a book, and one of the things you'll notice in these databases is that we have a chapter ID and a chapter number. Now the chapter ID is essentially where that chapter falls in the entire Bible. So there are 1,189 chapters in the Bible, and so Exodus 1 is chapter number 51 in the scripture, even though its chapter is obviously 1 in the book of Exodus. So that's what the chapter ID represents. We have a similar ID in the verse database as well. But obviously every chapter is tied to a book and has, again, a number of verses tied to it. So what we can do, once again, we have a template over here which is built. What that will do, if you click into any chapter in this database, you can click on that, and what that's going to give you is a filtered view of all the verses which are tied to that chapter. So again, using the Notion's database relationships again, so all of those are already built, so that enables you just to have a look in here. What we also have in the Bible chapters database is a gallery view. Again, another way to look at the information, although arguably not too helpful because there's just too many of them. It's over 1,000 items, so it's not necessarily how you look at that, but I suppose the important thing is that you have an indexable database of Bible chapters which you can reference to in your own Notion workspace. So now moving on to the Bible verses. We've done the books, we've done the chapters. If we click into verses, again, this is fundamentally just a database of every verse in the Bible. Now this is made up of 31,102 verses, so this is a rather large database. And as before, we have an ID for each individual verse, which is not the verse number as such, but the verse number in the entire Bible, so up to 31,102. And as before with the chapters, every verse is tied to a book, but it's also tied to a chapter, and that allows us to reference and filter these verses in other views and in contextual views within those chapters and respective books. And we've also got here a text property in this database, which is the actual text of each verse, and that's taken from the World English Bible, the Web Bible, which is an open source Bible translation, copyright free, which is why I can make this template. And what this enables you to do is essentially you can reference any one of these verses across your entire Notion workspace, and it will take you to the actual verse text, which I think is absolutely fantastic, and it's what made me excited about this whole project. In terms of the naming, it just uses the 3-letter code, which is taken from the book, and then just obviously chapter and verse as kind of standard. Now what you can do is you can go into any one of these verses. So there's no template for this database, as that's not necessary for the verses in this plan. But yeah, those are the building blocks of our Notioneers Bible. So we've got those Bible books, Bible chapters, and Bible verses. Now, what I'm hoping is that you guys will be able to see what you can do with this. Now, I actually have another devotional Bible, which there's a separate video to, which goes into some detail about how we might actually look at using this, but I wanted to offer this as a basic tool if you want to be able to reference the Bible and build your own tools using this set of 3 databases within Notion. So where can you find this template? If we look on notionbible.gumroad.com, I've got a link. It's also in the description of this video, and yeah, there'll be links around the channel, etc., to where you can go and find it. It's called a Notioneers Bible, and you can go and purchase it online at notionbible.gumroad.com. I'll leave a link in the description, and there'll be links around. But yeah, I hope you can see that this is going to be just a great tool if you love Notion, you love reading the scripture, you love referencing the scripture and studying it. This is going to be a great tool for you. It's really done wonders for me as I'm taking sermon notes, as I'm writing my own study notes, etc. So I'd encourage you, just go check it out, and I'll leave you there. Let me know what you think, but obviously just go and use it, and I encourage you to get the most out of this because I think it's a really powerful tool. Thank you.